Hello, and welcome to our podcast, Where the Dark Corners Are. Hello. I am Vina, and I am your Dark Travels hostess. Tonight, I'm joined by pretty much everybody.
What do you mean pretty much?
Who
are we missing?
Why we're still not complete, I guess.
Sometimes it's the whole gang. Sometimes it's pretty much everybody. It's the same amount of people.
Yeah, the gang's all here, including serial killers.
No.
Oh, she's not in.
What's
It's the
that?
bottom one, and then it's that one.
Yeah. I don't know what that one was
right
either.
there.
Which one?
Hello. And
Start it right there.
In 1995, a team of paranormal travel podcasters found an abandoned cub in the haunted Arctic. After some kick-ass paranormal training and his first alien kill, he was ready. So, if ghosts, serial killers, or monsters in the dark got you scared, don't hesitate to call the Polar Bear. The Polar Bear.
Somebody's a little jealous.
That was so. It was perfect. No one's ever gonna notice. No one will know. I swear.
All right, and
That
then
shit
we
was
have
Road trip with the Panda.
Ging.
with Sam.
And Sam.
And Sam.
Okay, so we're
Your tune's going to be dun, 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 and Sam.
Please let that be it. It feels accurate now.
all right. I am hoping that this is set up correctly for everyone to hear the gang song. So we'll see.
We're in
Don't
a
say the
gang.
gang song.
Gang.
Gang's all here song.
We went from a cult to a gang. We're moving up in this world.
Here we go.
At the dark corners are, the gang is all here. Where the dark corners are, ghosts and goblins beware. Where the dark corners are, aliens and serial killers have a care. Where the dark corners are, the gang is all here.
Is the Kobe like an Easter egg? Did you guys hear that too? It was
I don't know
like
what he's
Kobe.
saying. It's like saying I felt like I had schizophrenia or something.
Okay.
Started hearing voices.
Correct.
in the
In the
background.
background, yes. What did you think?
So you just said Kobe in the background?
I could have sworn I heard that.
Kobe.
Like, what?
Swish.
Polar Bear, what did you think?
It was I.
I think it's okay. It's definitely not Polar Bear's intro on any level. Mm-mm. But I mean, it covers kind of a lot of our topics.
It does, but it's not
Like,
catchy. It's not catchy like
it
the
just-
intro theme song. That's so
So any of
catchy.
them, yeah. It sounds. They do say words. I'll give you that.
I love words.
It's a song.
And the gang's all here. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Something to discuss off record. All right. Today is the
Oh Jesus
Shit.
Christ!
She's got one favorite kid.
You know what?
It's
I got
not
this.
you.
I got this. Today's a great day. You know what today is?
Dun, 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 dun.
No, that was terrible. But you should have just kept your mouth shut.
He's crunching through the whole thing
Yeah, he's
and
just
opening fucking
I
rappers.
gave
Are
him
you
fucking
shitting me right
candy.
now?
You're ruining this goddamn episode. This was a great episode idea. You just fucking choking on freaking pink things.
I was trying to help Darth Vina over here because y'all left her high and dry.
Well, I set
Yes,
her
you
up.
did.
I set her up, and she was knocking it out of the park.
All right. Today is
May the 4th.
Be With You.
No, it's just called May the 4th.
Be with you.
Be with you.
Go ahead, say it 100 more times and we'll just finish it for you.
I guess. You don't call the day May the 4th.
Be with you.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if
Gotcha,
it
good.
worked.
Got him.
All right. So today is
It's- I'm not
What
saying
day
it
is
again.
it?
Why? Yes, we're going to keep saying it over again until we have the same conversation.
and this episode is in honor of
Why do you keep setting it up? I got you. Just
okay, Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yes, yes. Today is basically an unactual holiday, but to the nerds out there, everyone likes to celebrate May the 4th.
Be with you.
Fuck.
And also with you. Got him twice.
This day, May the 4th and May 25th are usually the biggest 2
I know,
days
you
for
went
Star
real
Wars
fast.
nerds. So, does anyone know why May 25th?
Yes, I do. I do.
Does anyone else know?
No, I don't know.
Why is it?
Because that's when Star Wars, and it was just called Star Wars, was released on May 25th, 1977.
Okay, so what were the 2 days again?
May 25th and minus 21 days from that.
3 weeks prior.
And other people like to celebrate Revenge of the 5th. So, that's also a thing. If you're the dark side kind of feller.
What day is that?
Does that come after May 4th?
Yes.
Be with you?
It's after May 4th.
Be with
Means
you.
it's on May 5th. So, but yes, it's a very great day, and I love Star Wars. I don't know about the rest of everyone else at this table.
You can tell.
Yeah.
One of us remembers being in line, excitedly waiting for Revenge of.
The 5th.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay, you almost had it. You almost sold it. You were there. You were there.
One of us remembers.
Return to the Jedi. You trying to say Return to the Jedi?
Correct.
You know, to be fair, I will admit that the original title was called Revenge of the Jedi.
Yes.
But the Jedi do not believe in revenge. Can you fucking not kick my fucking chair ever again?
It used to be about Star Wars. Now the episode's about me.
Oh, gosh.
Well, you look like Luke Skywalker.
It's always about you, let's be honest here.
Does he?
But either way, my love for Star Wars is pretty great. I am not full extreme. I have not read all the books or anything like that, but I've done my best with the movies and TV shows and everything I can to keep up.
All the Funko Pops downstairs.
All the Funko Pops you see downstairs and the lightsaber that I got for Christmas.
You're welcome.
My children also got lightsabers and they
Not as
love
cool.
it.
Not as cool.
It's the
We got a cool one.
yeah, it's the well. I don't want to say it's not uncool because I used to have a Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber when I was younger. It was one of those you pull out
Yeah,
like
the plastic one.
like a baton or something.
Yeah, get done.
Yeah. So, either way, I just figured. But to fit into this podcast, we have to talk about some negative things about Star Wars. So,
There's negative
Well,
things
let's cover
about
some
yes.
fun facts, first of all.
we could do fun facts.
Okay, so we're on the topic
Right. So,
of
I told you guys to think of some fun things you guys liked about Star Wars, things you don't like about Star Wars, fun facts that you could think of or find.
but we're talking about lightsabers.
Okay. You can talk
So
about
there's-
this, yeah.
According to one source that I read, there's only 7 colors of lightsabers. So they're predominantly red, green, and blue. But any guesses who has the only purple one?
I know.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Correct.
What's his character name? Motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Mace Windu.
Yeah. See?
Yes. And Samuel L. Jackson asked very specifically to have that color.
Yeah.
Because, it doesn't appear in any of the books or any
Well,
other lore anywhere else.
kind of. There's another one. I think there's a couple, but the idea with the purple one is the lore behind it is it's that person's gone to the dark side to see the power and feel what the power is and learned about it, but ultimately stands for the light.
Oh.
So that's why blue and red make purple. But in all reality, if Samuel Jackson just being him, say I want a purple fucking lightsaber, he told because I'm Samuel L. Jackson.
Motherfucker.
Yeah,
Motherfucker,
he said
yeah.
motherfucking lightsaber.
Now, there is a very powerful lightsaber that we tend to see in The Mandalorian, which is slightly part of the Star Wars universe, with the gapping of what happens at the end of the first season of The Mandalorian.
Well, right. It's also in the TV shows and everything else. So it is, very canon that the Darksaber, hashtag spoilers, but,
It's black.
Yeah, but it's not really a Jedi weapon. But regardless, the Darksaber is one of its own kind.
It's older.
Right, the ruler, or basically the legend of the Mandalorian, tribe or people, the first ruler of Mandalore had the Darksaber to unite this people.
So that
Samsy's very interested in this topic. Have you watched all the Star Wars and everything, or do you
I've
like
watched
Star
a
Wars?
lot of the Star Wars stuff, yeah.
Do you like Star Wars? I guess that's what the next question was.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I could take it or leave it. My children are obsessed. They like to have Star Wars battles with my brother in the front yard. They think it's the best thing ever. We're big Baby Yoda fans.
Yes, Baby Yoda,
His name is Grogu.
I will only refer to him as Baby Yoda. Thank you.
which is fine because Baby Yoda he saves the Disney Plus Star Wars for anything in the future.
Yeah. I mean,
Mandalorian did, but Mandalorian saved Grogu, which in turn,
right.
so
I mean, I feel like I didn't really look up any fun facts or anything, but that was one thing that I like about Star Wars and the recent ones is that Mandalorian and Grogu. I feel like Grogu is the future of the franchise because he's a baby through all the struggle and everything. So by the time he grows up, he can start his own shit and do it right this time.
Well, we'll see because, I don't want to give anything away, but
his species also takes forever to fucking age. So
Right.
by the time he gets to even teenagehood, Mando will probably be gone. But
so I obviously exposed Michael, him and me and his dad showed Michael,
Star Wars, the original trilogy,
correct, which I thought was just absolute excellent series of films.
Especially for its time.
right? It was the newer graphics, and it was expected not to even be as big as it was. Expected just to be a normal movie.
No, it was actually considered a B-rated movie, which meant they didn't even expect much attention being drawn to it. And this movie just exploded. And I remember, people were in line, literally in line. And like I said, I remember being in line when Return of the Jedi came out, and that theater, we're talking, this came out in the 80s, so we're talking 40 years ago-ish.
Whoa.
Well,
It came out in the 80s. I'm not 40 years ago.
Well, Return of the Jedi, as of this year, is 40 years old, and they're doing a 40-year anniversary, and they're going to re-release it in theaters.
But the theater that I went to see Return of the Jedi is still there 40 years later. But one of the cool things that I did think that Lucas did do was he re-released the original 3 in the theaters, giving Michael's generation the opportunity to see it on the big screen. But he also added really good special effects that was not available in the 70s. He was using glass planes for some of the special as a form of special effects. Nowadays it's green screens and CGI.
Right. Well, and plus it not to discredit George Lucas, but it was mostly his wife that did the special effects. Like, she helped create the things that we saw that day. She was behind the scenes doing everything, and that's why there were so many remasters of Star Wars, because when they divorced, she had the rights to most of the CGI effects and everything else. So that's why Jabba the Hutt and stuff was changed. So they made different things. When you see the re-releases of enhanced and everything else, that's because they had to make it their own way and cut her out, essentially. She still gets credit, of course, but...
Now, you mentioned earlier Yoda, Baby Yoda. I actually read that Yoda and Baby Yoda are actually not the same species, which...
I think they are.
I think they are too, so maybe the article that I read. But the original voice for Yoda is a gentleman by the name of Frank Oz, who actually does a lot of voices in other puppeteer creations, such as the Muppets. I mean, everybody loves the Muppets, and he's a very curiously looking guy. If you ever see the movie Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, which is a great movie, 80s movie into itself, he actually plays a cop who holds up PCP bags, his angel dust. You know what this does to the kids? I mean, that's Frank Oz. I mean, he was kind of everywhere in the 80s, including voicing Yoda.
He was in the Blues Brothers too. He was also a correction officer in there. He's giving Elway his shit back. The
Okay.
inventory guy. He's counting everything.
So, do you guys know what Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker.
Do you guys know what his original surname was supposed to be? It wasn't going to be Skywalker.
I do know this, but I can't remember.
You got it. Think of it.
It's not coming to me. Because then I just went down the rabbit hole about whether or not Yoda and Baby Yoda are the same.
They are. They're the same species. If you look at them, I think
they're
okay.
dead on.
But they're not the same person,
Right.
apparently, but they're the same species.
So there's nothing to confirm that they're related in any way or
Right.
reincarnation yet. So we're not sure exactly the origins of where he came from, Grogu, or even Yoda for that matter. But
And Yaddle.
Well,
yeah,
Luke Skywalker.
the woman Yoda.
Yaddle.
Yeah. So yeah, either way, Skywalker's original name was going to be Starkiller,
Correct.
which actually, if you ever played the game, if you ever played the game Force Awakens, is the name of the main character in that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever played the Force Awakens, I'm sorry, the Force Unleashed. You remember that game?
Yeah, it was
Came
good.
out- yeah, it was
I don't
great.
remember the name.
It was Starkiller.
Well, Lucas actually ended up changing it because he kind of felt like that was like a violent kind of name, kind of give it in a violent overtone that he didn't want to give to his protagonist. I mean, obviously, he doesn't lose
Right.
his shit and start killing,
He
Well,
kills
baby
the
Jedis.
Death Star.
Well, he does kill billions of people by shooting those probes in the fucking
Well, he had
exhaust
to.
port.
They were on the wrong side of the Force, so fuck them.
The Empire was doing the Empire things. They just, the Empire, fucking Raider was just supervising. Well, regardless, so yeah, like as you said, motherfucker. I swear to God. I held it on the last podcast because we were serious. But this is the goofy one. Stop kicking my fucking chair.
I'm sorry. Such a fun podcast.
Go stand over there.
How many lightsabers do you have? Should we just break and you guys can lightsaber
just got
battle
the
and
one.
get it out?
Fuck.
If there's another one around the block, I can go grab it real fast.
Okay, so either way, but yeah, it's just as you mentioned that all your main characters, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, these are the protagonists of the original trilogy, and they're put on this pedestal of essentially being perfect. And
Yeah, where's Chewie in that?
and Chewbacca too, yes.
Main star.
But
whatever.
only Chewbacca's the only person who, off screen really didn't cause, I'm gonna say quote unquote drama, but didn't really have any dirt on him. These people are put on the pedestal, and the best thing about Star Wars for these three people was these were all nobodies. Harrison Ford was a carpenter on set, and they had him right. They already had a role filled for Han Solo, and then he shows up, and they have him fill in and do some lines, and then it ended up being like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. But the sad fact of the matter is after the first one came out, the Harrison Ford didn't even want to be Han Solo anymore.
Oh.
He didn't like the character. Not that he didn't want the fame and attention, but because at first, it's great. He boosted his career.
It was his career.
Right, before he got Indiana Jones and then they made all these movies. But he hated the fact that his character was so, on the nicest way to put it, is dumb. Because he doesn't make any ideas for himself, so he didn't like that character. So when he hashtag spoilers, he was killed in The Force Awakens, he was actually kind of relieved that he was done with it. So he was done with the character.
Well, believe it or not, the role, and this is part of the trivia that I researched, the role of Han Solo was actually offered and other people auditioned for. So, and this is actually quite an impressive list, but I have to say, I don't see any of these men, with the exception of maybe one, potentially pulling off Han Solo. So Al Pacino, Kurt Russell, Bill Murray, Robert Englund. If you guys don't know who that is, that's your Freddy Krueger. John Travolta, James Wood, James Caan, Robert De Niro, Jack Nicholson, Burt Reynolds, Tom Selleck, and Sylvester Stallone. So like Khan was offered it, De Niro was offered it, Jack Nicholson, Reynolds, and Selleck were all offered the role of Han Solo and they turned them down. But like Stallone and Al Pacino auditioned for them. And looking at this list, the only one that I think would have done a decent job, no offense to any of these, I mean, these are prime actors, I'm not saying that, but to be the icon that they become is Kurt Russell, in my opinion.
Oh, not Tom Selleck?
No, Tom Selleck has a kind of too much of a laid-back charm for me.
And Harrison Ford didn't.
No.
All right. It's fine.
So now for Princess Leia, oddly enough, they actually offered the job to Jodie Foster, who was 12 at the time, which she turned it down because she was doing Taxi Driver and she was portraying, a prostitute. But they also auditioned Glenn Close, Sigourney Weaver, Meryl Streep, Christine Baranski, Kim Basinger, Gina Davis, Melanie Griffin, Angelica Houston, Amy Irving, Jessica Lange, Bernadette Peters, Jane Seymour, Kathleen Turner, Diane Wiest, and Deborah Winger. Now, Carrie Fisher, to me, is the iconic. She was perfect.
May she rest.
Correct, in peace. But I could see a young Gina Davis or a young Kim Basinger.
Yeah, I don't like Gina Davis. I just see her in A League of Our Own.
Which I thought she was perfect in.
Oh, she's phenomenal. Phenomenal in A League of Our Own.
So,
yeah.
To be honest with you, and none of these, Bernadette Peters is a comedian. I'm not sure if she's still alive. Kathleen Turner, no. Kathleen Turner is a tall woman with, a lot of strength. And
Well,
Carrie
I think that would
Fisher.
have been cool. I thought she was hot.
Kathleen Turner?
Yeah, it's not
Without a doubt.
Yeah, so it would have been cool.
But I don't know if she could have done the Galactic Princess.
Sure.
Well,
Either way, but it worked out though. Like I said, and that's why Star Wars has offered a lot of opportunities for a lot of actors who done anything, and now those three we can name Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, who are now the three biggest names that mostly because and only for Star Wars, except for the Harrison Ford, and the side note of James Earl Jones.
Oh, yes, absolutely the voice of Darth Vader.
But there's also kind of a curse with these actors that play these roles in Star Wars because there's so much, nowadays. So that's why I think the Dark Corners comes to this fact is the fans of Star Wars is probably one of the worst fandoms in the world. It's just unnecessarily terrible. It's so bad. So to kind of backtrack, Carrie Fisher, she didn't really do any movies after Star Wars. She had roles. She wasn't like broke or nothing. She wasn't doing anything bad. She actually ended up becoming kind of infamous writer.
Correct. She actually wrote a lot of movies. She rewrote a lot of bad scripts that went on to become movies. And she had some roles, nothing as grandiose as Star Wars.
Right. But then she was always labeled as you're just Princess Leia. So it's what sucks about these movies is that you're always just kind of labeled as that person. So like I said, with the exception of some people like Harrison Ford, who ended up making, the hugest careers of everyone there. Mark Hamill ended up doing voice acting and becoming huge to the Joker and everything else. But, as it progressed with time and technology and the voice of the fans becoming more, be able to be heard more. So when the next sequels came out, the prequels that we call them, episode 1, 2, and 3, that's where a lot of things took a dark turn, especially as for fandom, like how bad it could be. So when Phantom Menace came out, it was not received well at all.
I really like Phantom Menace.
So you would be in the very minority, which is fine because I think the last, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, whatever, is one of the best parts is probably the best part of that movie.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I was trying to look something up. I don't fucking know.
Well, the young star.
Well, that's what I'm good with.
Okay.
That's what I'm good with.
Wait for it.
So the kid who plays Anakin Skywalker, which ends up being Darth Vader, and
Yeah, mind blown. That was a big moment.
Yeah, so Jake Lloyd was his name. He was bullied so bad from this movie because it came out, but I mean, the character itself wasn't written well. It just wasn't done well with him, so it's not really his fault. But because of this movie, his life was basically just shot.
Really?
Yeah. So he was actually kind of on the rising star because he did Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was doing all these other side roles, and then he gets the role in Star Wars. Like, this is fucking Star Wars.
Star Wars.
People have been waiting almost 20 years, if not 20 years, for the next Star Wars movie. And he gets a chance, and then as soon as the movie comes out, he's just straight up harassed, ruined. People harassed him so badly, and it just never stops. Everyone who noticed who he was or figured out who he was, they would always just bully him. And it was so bad that he, at one point he just stopped going to school. He was unable to have a social life, do anything. He ends up becoming a schizophrenic.
What the fuck?
He even went home and got in a physical altercation with his mom. The police had to be called and everything. He went to jail for 10 months.
His mom probably really liked Star Wars.
and then he went to an asylum for a second. He comes out. He's medicated schizophrenic now. I mean, as of right now, he hasn't done anything as of super recent. But I mean, just because of a fandom. Now, this is also before Twitter, Facebook, and everything else. So people are literally calling or going out of their way to find them and tell them, you fucking suck. You ruined something and then for a fucking movie. Like, I love Star Wars, and I will appreciate everything that comes out of it in some way, somehow. But I'm not going to go out of the way to write a letter or send death threats for fucking a bad role or something like that. It's just terrible.
I didn't even think it was that bad. I think you just, like you said, had Star Wars loyalists. Like, people of my dad's generation, like, the old school Star Wars was it. He wasn't going to watch any other ones. He's not going to watch the ones on Disney+. I liked the prequels because it did provide some good, shocking moments and some interesting stuff. And I liked that it brought forth strong women because we really missed that, in my opinion, from Princess Leia.
We got Padme out of that.
I
Padme
loved
was fucking
her.
dope, and
Okay.
she's great.
And Princess Leia is just weak and feeble and just a sex symbol, and it was just boring. I just didn't vibe with her. I didn't like her. I didn't like her in comparison to
You
Padme.
almost had me. Almost had me.
Too far there, too far.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
Let's listen to both opinions.
Yeah, I just
right.
I love her.
And so there are things, and that's why it sucks now because I think the fandom has a really good heart at most times, but the negativity sticks out so much more, and it's so much easier to hold on to the negativity when it's said to you compared to the positivity. So if you they just had the Star Wars celebration in London. Someone like Hayden Christensen, he played Anakin Skywalker in the prequels.
Yeah, episode 2 and 3.
Yes. So he came out, the whole crowd lost their shit. And, I mean, just such if you watch the video, it gives you kind of the chills because the crowd goes wild. And he's only done so many movies. And it's because he was shit on for also playing Anakin in the prequels. And he only got one other movie right after it came out, and that was Jumper. Which was actually pretty good. Samuel Jackson was a good movie. But after that, what'd you see him in? Nothing.
He was
You
in
think
a
it
couple
killed
more,
it?
but there were little roles.
So, I mean, his career's shot, and he's also feeling the harassment still of the prequel movies.
Well, but I argue that once again, it's generational. So like I said, my dad's going to be a Star Wars loyalist. I watched the OG ones with my dad. So I was open to the prequels, I think, because I was like, oh, these are Star Wars of my generation. Like, I always watched the old school Star Wars. What are we going to get now? And then, like, your generation into my kids' generation, I think they're more accepting. Like, I don't think the OGs would really appreciate all of the stuff that's coming out on Disney+. But there are, like, you guys are open to everything. My kids are just, the more Star Wars content that comes out, the new Star Wars land in Disneyland, like, they're 800% in.
Right. And that's what sucks is because the only voices you're going to hear, especially from that time, is the adults.
Right.
You're not going to hear the kids because the kids are seeing the lightsaber duels that didn't happen in the original trilogy, like at all, like except for certain scenes.
A couple times.
So we're seeing all these things that are focused for children, which is kind of the primary thing of Star Wars anyways. It's to be able to tell the story without, super simplifying it. And it's mostly made for a younger crowd.
And it is the essential or quintessential concept of good versus bad. And where are you going to stand?
Right. And it doesn't happen as much today and it probably won't, but I remember an article forever ago where this kid was stopping bullying, but he wasn't fighting back. He was just trying to stop whatever happening. And they asked him, well, why don't you fight back? He's all like, because it's not the Jedi way. And they went into this whole thing. He likes Star Wars. Some people don't like the Jedi in this room.
No.
Wow, I didn't know we had a Sith Amanda.
I like a happy medium.
Apparently, we're all on
where's
the outside
temple
over here.
of I learned both things and I don't want to be the Jedi anymore?
You're the purple lightsaber.
That's Ahsoka, baby.
Yeah, I like Ahsoka a
So,
lot.
but that's why it's like, why do you? But the fans do this though. And then one of the worst ones to happen was the person who played Jar Jar Binks. His name is Ahmed Best. He played Jar Jar Binks in The Phantom Menace. Has also this chance to become this big star. He wasn't anything crazy, but he was like a flexible parkour kind of guy. And if you watch The Phantom Menace, he's Jar Jar Binks is falling down, doing jumps and stuff. And if you don't know, Jar Jar Binks is one of the most hated characters in Star Wars.
And I believe that because I would say that was not necessary. He was not necessary.
Correct. Well, he was made for a comedic relief kind of thing, and it just didn't fit. But some people do enjoy it.
I was going to say, annoying as fuck.
Right.
You're just like, go away.
Right, and it's just a running joke of like any cinema. So if someone makes fun of Jar Jar Binks, that's the first person who's going to hear it is him himself. But the character itself wasn't built that great. But it pushed this guy who was just trying to, who made it to Star Wars, who grew up on the old Star Wars as well. This is his chance. He's an adult.
Well, not his fault. He didn't write his own character. He played to what he was given.
Right, and he was given this character, if you want to call it that, this thing, and did what he could. But it pushed him to a point where he was thinking about ending his life because it's terrible. He's ridiculed just like Lloyd and Christensen. It's just like, he's like, well, my career's over. Everything's done. What's the point now?
Well, I know that Lucas got a lot of backlash and hate mail for Jar Jar Binks, but he continued to keep him in the series, despite the fact that he had the opportunity to remove a character that really was not well received.
Right. Even he's in the movies later on, but he definitely doesn't have as much screen time. And he's kept in the TV shows, which ends up actually being in some okay episodes, in my opinion, but whatever. But the actor himself is, that's why I keep going back to this. The fans drove this into this man's life that you are nothing. You ruined something else.
You ruined something I love.
So this is actually a really interesting topic right now. And I'm going to ask you if you guys are thinking the same thing that I am with a movie now becoming a TV show. Anyone know what I'm talking about?
Harry Potter.
Right. Like, can you imagine what these actors and actresses are going to get coming out? Like, already there's so much hate pouring in. It's
Straight
redundant, same logo. That's not my Harry Potter. That's not my Hermione, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are losing their minds. This show has not even come out. Like, legitimately has not even come out, and people are already losing their minds.
I think it's too early to reboot Harry Potter.
What do you want them to wait for? 50 years from now?
Probably.
They're trying to imagine and separate because, they're making, an episode and a full season out of every book.
Right.
And we left a lot of
Which is
stuff out.
that's a great way to do the adaptations, is the shows.
Right, you have time, and if it works well and everyone likes it, you can put more money into it, and it's going to create such a huge thing. But as she was saying, or most people are saying, it's already been done.
Yeah.
People are losing
and worked
it.
out. Harry Potter worked out, okay?
Well, so not to get us completely off track, but this is very similar to where people are like, we don't need a new version of this. But when you look at the new TV shows for Star Wars and stuff, people are eating it alive. I mean, like I said, we just made a whole new land for Star Wars at Disneyland, I believe.
Disneyland.
So I mean, people are buying back in as new things are getting released. I don't hate Harry Potter for doing the same thing, but once again, you have Harry Potter loyalists that are like, hell no, this is not my Harry Potter. You have Star Wars loyalists that are like, hell no, this is not my Star Wars.
Right.
And it's kind of interesting.
I would argue, being of the generation who saw the original 3, I did not like the first 3. I absolutely fucking hated Jar Jar Binks. I mean, it was like, are you fucking kidding me with
He's
this?
only in the first one, though.
No, he's in all 3 of them.
I know, but he doesn't do anything in the next 2 movies.
It doesn't
She already
matter.
hate
It's
him.
kind of
So if he's on the screen, automatic
Correct,
fail.
correct,
Because
correct.
the Battle of Mustafar, Obi-Wan versus Anakin Skywalker is the worst thing to ever happen in cinema because Jar Jar Binks happened to be in it for 2
he
seconds of the
breathed in
movie.
it. He breathed in it.
Well,
he ruined
so
it.
funny enough, this
But-
is our difference between even Princess Leia and Padme. Like, she's my main character. This is your main
and I would say,
character.
Padme who?
Padme Amidala? Senator
Oh, no, I know
Amidala
who
of
it
Naboo?
is.
Oh my god.
But my point is this. Despite my disliking of the first 3, I thought Rogue One was excellent.
It was.
I thought Force Awakens was okay. I thought the one after.
Right, okay, so to finish up with Ahmed, so quick redemption story with it. He #spoilers, he actually gets brought back by Disney to run a YouTube TV show called fuck.
Yeah, how are you going to bring it up and not even know what
That's
it's
a
called?
cool. That's a cool name for a show.
It's Challenge of the Jedi Temple, I believe. But it's like Temple, you know, the old TV show, Nickelodeon TV show where the kids have to go through the temple.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like that, but with Jedi younglings. So and then he also has a role somewhere out there right now that's also involved in Star Wars with the same character. So and he goes also to the celebration and he breaks it open to everybody, and it's also none of those goosebump feelings where the crowd goes crazy when they see him because the crowd is apologizing for the negativity that was said to him. So I mean he's older now and he's better now.
It's called Jedi Temple Challenge.
Jedi Temple Challenge? Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
It only lasted for like a season, but it was still a cool thing to have that, you know, sometimes there is reprimands or, you know, a way to come back and
Redemptions.
right. So Disney's guys, well, sorry about that. I mean, it was a part of Disney back then, but you know, here's our chance to help you out in some way. I mean, it only took fucking almost 20 years.
The other one's called Legends of the Hidden Temple, by the way.
Yes.
That was my jam when I
that
was a
a great
kid.
show.
Oh, God.
So, anyways,
Well, so then you get to the sequels that recently came out, and I mean, this is recent too. So I mean, like you said, Rogue One was its own thing. I
But
think
it was-
it got a lot of good reception. I think it's one of the best, if not the best movie. But the sequel of the Skywalker saga, the last 3 movies, the Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, they are considered not the best either.
and you know, I understand that, but the Rise of Skywalker I thought was great.
Really?
I did. I gave it a good review. I do reviews on a website. I gave it a great review. I thought the whole moment of her realizing who she really is,
Ray?
correct, Ray, realizing who she really is and saying, this is where I still stand.
Right, that doesn't define who I am.
Correct.
Even through all the
I know
animosity.
who I'm supposed to be, but that's not going to be my path. I'm a Skywalker.
Now, I have my own quarrels with that series in terms of whatever. That's just me nitpicking. But the problem with that one, too, is now social media is in play. And so you remember Rose from the second one, The Last Jedi?
Yes.
So regardless of what you thought of her, she was also a victim of straight instant bullying. As soon as that movie came out, done. Straight done. So I mean, her social media got so bad she turned off all social media, and that's an actor's biggest thing. Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Like that's their thing. That's how they get around and announce their own projects. But it was so bad that she was put down. I mean, essentially, she shut down social media, and she wasn't even in the next one.
Right, and once again, you're bullying a real person
A real
about their
life person.
stupid fucking character that has nothing to do with anything. Like, it's
Yeah,
not a
it's-
real thing.
It's terrible.
It's here
It's
for your
so bad.
entertainment.
And it happened to Daisy Ridley, who plays Rey, and she was the main character.
Right.
They say you're just a knockoff Luke, or you're just fucking what do they call it, Mary Bo Peep or some shit like that, where you got nothing coming. And it's like, just let it happen. It's who cares? It doesn't affect you that much. Like, there's no point of ruining this person's life or making her feel bad for doing something that they think is great for them, which is, I thought she was great, but
Well, to get paid and eat food, like to survive. Like, this person didn't come in and be like, I am going to be the most hated character in the world. I am going to become the new Luke Skywalker and to fuck with everybody. They're just like, hey, like a child. You were going to bully a child? The child probably didn't even take themselves to audition. They get this huge break.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to be in a movie. And everyone's like, you fucking suck. And this poor child's like, I don't even know how to write my name yet. Like, what the fuck?
you're fucking telling me I suck.
Right.
And like Boyega, I don't know how to say his name, I probably butchered that, but he just got shit on so bad.
As his character for Finn.
Yeah, which I thoroughly enjoyed Finn's character, but I think they butchered his character on the movie-wise, story-wise. But he also hasn't really done anything. None of them have done anything. Daisy really hasn't been in a movie in so long. And
Well, she was in the remake of Death of on the Nile.
Death on the
which-
Nile or the Orient Express?
Death on the Nile.
No, she's on the train one.
I'm sorry. Correct.
Murder on the Orient
Orient Express. Yes, correct. My apologies. Not that I think that Daisy Riley is actually listening or Finn.
Yeah, if she is, oh, thank God for making those movies. I appreciate you for what you did, and everyone else is your cast members, Oscar Isaac.
My
Jason
point
Boyega.
is this. Please remember that there are young girls who are dressing up just like you because you made a positive impact on their lives.
Right. And that, I mean, these people have made, every Star Wars character has some sort of impact on somebody out there. Everybody wants to be Obi-Wan. Everybody wants to, little girls want to be Rey. You know, people make the Yoda voice because he was such a, character. He was a badass character that you want to be.
Right.
And Samuel Jackson was the first black Jedi that you see on screen.
These people put an imprint on them and made an impression that made them want to be that better person. So, I mean, back to Daisy and Finn, again, you contributed to making the world a better place. You did.
Oh, like you guys heard that too, right? Little tiny guy.
Schizophrenia.
Little Skywalker, you outside?
But getting back to the Star Wars universe, again, I thought Rogue One was excellent.
Great fucking movie. Great. But the problem is they changed that movie too. Is we'll never see what they originally had made. It was supposed to be like super dark. It'd be even darker. It was dark as it ended in a lighter tone, I guess. But I was like, well, what could you have? Because in the trailers you watched when they first released it, it's different. And then I guess they reshot some things. So, but I think I think it's one of the best ones, if not the best one.
Right. Well, I'm not going to say that because the best one. Are you referring? Are you including the original?
I'm including
three?
all Star Wars movies, animated, non-animated. Rogue One is one of the best ones. So this is also the Star Wars fandom happening right here inside of me. I'm also evil and attack other people. Star Wars fandoms hate each other. Mm-hmm. They will straight up.
That's kind of funny. I was gonna bring that up when it first started. Like anything else, like you go anywhere else for anything. You go to a rock show, everybody loves rock, so everybody bonds over rock. And then you go, I don't know, wherever the fuck else. You go to the tattoo convention, everybody's bonding over tattoos, and then you go to a fucking Star Wars convention, everybody hates each other because
You're the wrong character.
yeah.
Why
you
why
don't
do you
know as
fucking like
much.
that? Yeah.
No, that fucker did this in 1953, so
But doesn't this speak
It's
to
just-
how many decades this has gone on, how polarizing it is, how many fans there are, how many haters there are? Like it or not, right, wrong, indifferent. You're talking about Star Wars at some point.
Right.
Period.
I think for me and my generation, and of course this is being general, Star Wars, and it was not called A New Hope when it first was released. I'm just
It was
gonna
just Star
reiterate
Wars.
that. It was just called Star Wars. That was the beginning. So no matter how well the special effects get, no matter how well the scripts get, that's the one that opened the door. And it lit the world's imagination. I mean, this is not just an
The
American
spark.
thing. Correct. Correct. And again, it's the quintessential. And I mean, you mentioned Harry Potter. It is the quintessential good versus bad. It is easier to go to the dark side. It is easier to join Voldemort's army.
Now you sound like my daughter.
Yes, Voldemort.
There's a D in there.
Voldemort's.
Little funny story. Okay, so my daughter goes, yeah, Voldemort, and my wife goes, there's a D in it. So she goes, Voldemort.
So cute.
But again, I mean, and even today, when we're facing with so much social injustices, people are drawing that line. And, you know where you stand. You're either a Jedi or you're a Sith. And
Wow.
or
But
you're,
yeah, you're right.
I mean,
there's a good and the bad side, and you just
correct. The dark side may have cookies, but the good side always wins.
But yes, I mean, just
I think you're missing the point of the movie.
Where are the cookies?
The point of the movie, there was too many Jedi, and that's why the Sith came in.
right. That's why the balance of the Force came
Now
into
we
play.
know.
Now we're going deep in
Is
that.
Joker also not the villain? Just curious. Like,
Huh?
is Batman the villain?
They're
Is
both
Joker the
villains.
hero? Joker the hero. I do think that this is interesting too because there's just so many twists and turns. So like we find out the whole incest thing, like when they kiss each other, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's pretty
We-
weird. Not gonna lie.
Right,
Okay.
all of a sudden we find out that Darth Vader's his dad. You know what I mean? And then like we keep going, and there's just so, and then we find out that young Anakin or whatever goes on. It just it's so everyone's invested because everyone wants to see what the next twist and turn is. Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's a baby Yoda, and then it was, oh my gosh, it has a name, and then it was, everyone's just sitting on their edge of the seats whether they like it or not because it's just gripping. Like everyone wants to know what's going to happen next.
Well, I do think the Mandalorian was superb. And
Yeah.
It's not over. No.
Yeah, no. But I mean, even him, he was a not a prison bouncer, but he retrieved
Bounty hunter.
he was a bounty hunter. Thank you.
Prison bouncer.
You're not
an
welcome here
interesting name.
anymore.
I'm pretty sure we don't want to bounce people from prison. We want to keep them.
A bounty hunter who was all about the Mandalorian life, all about, getting his. And when he sees something's not right and he realizes something bad's about to happen, here again, you have a quintessential point where you either stand on this side, where you remain silent and do nothing, or you act. And, and I think that was the thing about Luke. We first kind of see him, he's a little whiny. He wants to go play with his friends. He wants to go join the rebels. And his uncle is like, no. You're a farmer. You're going to be a farmer. And
A what kind of farmer?
I don't know, underground farmer.
Oh fuck. They
It's
were.
a
Yeah.
moisture
Farmer.
farmer.
Yeah.
But
Fucking hate
and
Tatooine.
then here he's seeing,
sucks.
he's got to make a stand. And then when the plot twist happens in Empire Strikes Back, and he sees how his own has been seduced by the dark side, it's kind of the same thing with Rey. She doesn't know who she's from, just like Luke didn't know who he came from. And when she learns who she comes from, she stands on the side of the Jedi. And, that is a very essential point because people who, grew up poor or didn't have, who are angry, they could still go and be on the right side of things and stand for justice and fight for what's right.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point that they tackle some really big things in here. They tackle family, they tackle self-identity and who you're coming from. They tackle right and wrong. But for me, I think what keeps people, for myself especially, was like the new characters. I just constantly wanted to see what they came up with. Like I was there for Chewie all day, every day.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't mind Han Solo.
Peter
Like,
Cushing.
yeah, he was fascinating.
Sorry. That's his name.
came to
That's
you.
his actor name. Yeah, I don't know why it came to me.
Well, but I loved him. Like, I loved Chewie. That's who I was there for. And then all of a sudden, the Ewoks come on the stage, and I'm just
fuck.
like, oh, shit.
The Ewoks.
I need one of those. I don't know where I'm going to find these little bears that throw these little slingshots at people, but I need these things. And then, like I said, then we get Baby Yoda, and it's just constantly, you're like, what is this world going to come up with next? It's just been so fascinating. And once again, parallel, Harry Potter was the same way. It was like, okay, now we have this. What's next? And that's the beauty about these fantasy things, which when Star Wars came out was kind of taboo. That's not really what we wanted to watch. That wasn't where the fan base was. That wasn't the way the entertainment was going. No one wanted to be a nerd. Some people read comic books, but those people were over there. Most people were like baseball card people and watching baseball because that's what our country was built on. This was a turning point that paved the way for all of this other sci-fi that has become such a main point of our entertainment, including like a Harry Potter. It paved the road for Harry Potter.
For the fantasy to enter.
Right.
And I mean, you make a valid point. You know, again, Star Wars was considered a B-rated movie. It was not expected to last. It was expected to quietly show in a few showings, a few theaters, and just go away into the galaxy far, far away. That did not happen. And, you know, one of the things I look at and looking at my kids, say, for example, Kiss.
You, looking at you.
Yeah,
The
I don't know
band.
what you want from me?
Kiss came out and they were a mega hit, and they resonated with kids who didn't have that kind of voice speaking for them. And that's exactly what Star Wars did. It was a voice for kids who loved to geek out on space stuff.
Which were the space stuff that we weren't even really wrapping our heads around.
Right.
Yeah, it's a mixture
Star
of,
Trek.
like space sci-fi and like medieval
Fantasy.
fantasy.
Right.
merged
You have
together.
a knight, a medieval knight, and you have magic, the force, bringing it all together in a galaxy far, far away.
Which also is Dune, if you ever heard of that.
Oh,
Which
yes.
is also the
The
inspiration.
new one was pretty good.
This is also the inspiration for George Lucas to make Star Wars. Because there's a lot of similarities to it.
So I didn't know that.
Now you do.
All right.
Well, there's also some other bad things that happened. So, like Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher totally fucking did it. She was 19. 19.
and he was married.
He was married and 33 years
Oh,
old.
shit.
And he boinked the shit out of her. And she was obsessed with him. She admits it because she writes books. And she even wrote a book, a memoir. She kept all the moments from when she was making the movies and stuff. So they would go out drinking with the cast and crew and stuff like that. And at 19, you're not really supposed to. But she's this model Princess Leia.
Yeah, no one was going to say shit.
Right. So, but she just thought Harrison Ford was so, the man. He was such a man. He was the guy, and she was obsessed with him. Kind of fortunate, but Harrison Ford did end up divorcing his wife, I think, when Empire Strikes Back came out. And so, they continued their strict banging parade.
They're fair.
So, but these people aren't pure.
Right. Well, I mean, they're humans.
Right. Well, okay. Humans. Oh,
Are
I'll
they?
remember that. I'm
Are
going to use
they?
that.
Is it true that Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford hate each other?
So, I just think that Harrison Ford just at some point, it's what I was seeing and reading and doing whatever, was that Harrison Ford just didn't want anything to do with Star Wars anymore. He didn't like being associated with Han Solo. It's one of his, despite the fame it brought him, it was fun at first, but he saw where the character was going. And so if you watch Return of the Jedi, he's not as enthused as he is in the other two. And he's kind of just sees that his character's going nowhere. He doesn't really make any headway with anything. The only thing he gets is him and Princess Leia get together.
Yeah, no character development.
There's no real development. He still stays a smuggler, and
Still the same guy, yeah.
yeah, and he's the same guy in Force Awakens. He's a fucking smuggler who's trying to get his same shit back. So there's no development. So he just didn't care for it. And then he also doesn't really care for Star Wars fans. I mean, he cares but doesn't care because he's like, why are you guys, gabagooing over me? Like, go away. So
That's interesting. Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy is almost like the cooler version of Han Solo, had he got character development.
yeah, that's a good one.
All right. So to wrap this up,
Is that all the crimes we had?
what crime?
What else? What other bad things were happening there?
lives were ruined.
Well, right. I mean, almost all these
Schizophrenia.
actors and actresses didn't nothing. Some of them just didn't you take us it was like a 15% chance if you were part of this movie, part of the Star Wars universe, you were gonna go do
Your
something.
life's gonna go to shit.
Yeah, and the rest was just dog shit chance of fucking better. So Jake Lloyd, Ahmad Best, Hayden Christensen, Mark Hamill there for a while, Daisy Ridley, who unfortunately is coming back. # spoilers. They announced it, so it's not really huge. I forget her name. Trent. I think her last name's Tren, who played Rose. Boyega. All these big names have just been kind of, whatever. I mean, because of Star Wars and because of the fans itself is what I was trying to make the point of this episode was. The fans itself was the dark side. Is the dark corner.
Of this whole situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I think to some degree there's an expectation that they're going to relive that magical moment that when they connect it to Star Wars.
It's a drug.
Yeah.
You're always looking for that
You're never
next
gonna get that first high.
Yeah. So fucking suck it up and just go with it. I mean, I'm not saying you can't not like it. I'm not saying you cannot. You can't. I'm not saying you have to enjoy everything that comes out. I don't think Rise of Skywalker is as good as you might have made it sound to be. I had my own gripes with it, but I'm not gonna fucking tell Daisy Ridley, "Hey, you fucked up."
I'm not gonna say that either, especially since I thought she did great.
I thought she was great.
Okay, so to wrap this up, Samantha, favorite Star Wars movie?
I mean, I don't really have one. I think I'd go more Mandalorian.
Yeah. So
than a movie.
I'm a favorite Star Wars project because there's just TV shows and everything. What's your least favorite thing about Star Wars?
I don't really think I have a least favorite thing, but I can say one of my favorite crossovers is when they went onto Friends, and it was all about the golden bikini, and I think it was just funny to watch that go into pop culture because it was all about Jennifer Aniston getting in that gold bikini, and mind you, she got big and she got to replicate this iconic moment, and then he couldn't stop picturing his mom.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that it just reaches out to everybody. I think that as a mom, watching my kids see the magic in Star Wars has reignited all the things that I have. Like, I could give or take Star Wars. I'm not sitting around watching it all the time, but to watch it with them and see them is just, it's amazing. It's fun to watch them have the same joy and passion that I had when my dad first introduced me to it.
All right, Polar Bear, Project.
I'm gonna agree with Sam. I think The Mandalorian is the best thing. Well, the movies were good. Okay, it was good. So let's go into the hate first, because the
hate plays into the good.
Yeah. What I don't like about Star Wars is not only are they replaying the same shit, right? It's the last three movies were the same as the first three movies. Okay, it's exactly the same stuff, but now they're also backfilling everything to where, like, I mean, I like the Han Solo movie, but then it takes out your imagination, right? Han Solo says, "Hey, I won the Millennium Falcon in the card game." Blah blah blah. Cool. So now you have it in your imagination, but now Disney's like, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and make that moment. And then we're going to fill in the gaps that your imagination should have filled in. And with all these 200 shows that are coming out, you're like, well, we're just reliving the past. It's already happened. We know, all that stuff. I feel like they should start a new project. And that's why I think Mandalorian's good, because it's a fresh outlook on that same world. And I feel like Grogu's going to be the future of the franchise.
I don't know about the Grogu thing, but I think, so you're saying that the Skywalker story, because that's all the 9 movies are based off of, is Skywalker. From the very beginning that happened in the 70s, continued all the way to 2019, 2020, when the last one came out, something like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's basically like, okay, you're beating a dead horse. There's not much else you can make a story about.
That's a good way to put it.
Getting redundant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, #spoilers.
It's a big universe.
Rey is coming back, and she gives herself for Skywalker. #spoilers. She's a Palpatine, but she's going to continue the Jedi Order somehow. So, and that's what I think. Like you said, a lot of people were kind of done with seeing the same Jedi hero story.
Yeah, and it kind of muted the first 6 movies. All that war, all that rebels. Like, yeah, we won. just for it to go back to the dark side and Kylo Ren taking over, and you have to form another resistance, and everything just went to shit again.
Right. And so, yeah, because in the newer movies, they say the New Republic, and then when they go to fight, they're like, oh, we don't have anybody. It's like, where the fuck was this Republic you said you built? Where the fuck is that? You say you have this new thing instead, but it's whatever. It already happened. And that's why I'm curious to see if they keep the movies canon. They probably will, but...
I was going to say, since you're all fired up, what's your favorite, least favorite? What do we call it? Pros, cons, highs,
Pros,
lows?
cons. My favorite product... I do agree with him with all the new projects they're doing now is backfill and repair mode, essentially. So they're going back with all these animated TV shows and Mandalorian to explain how we got to the points in the movies and all the stuff that happened in between. Because we don't have any of those stories in between, which would have been great to see on the live screen, but we never got it. So, but I really love the Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Andor. I tell this guy to watch Andor.
Why you gotta look at me?
Because you're the only person I know who will watch Andor. Okay. But, Mandalorian is fantastic. But out of the movies, I mean, all those projects I think are fantastic. And Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are making great things with Disney. So, I mean, I'm all about everything about Star Wars. Everything's got something good about it. So I don't really have a best one. But the best movie, I think, was Rogue One. And my least favorite thing about Star Wars was the fact that the fans are fucking trash.
I was going to say assholes.
Yeah.
What about you, Rena? Peaks, valleys?
So, really fucking hated Jar Jar Binks. And really was not a fan of the first three. Now...
Episode 1, 2, and 3.
Correct.
Not the original trilogy.
Correct. Thank you for the clarification. If I had to say my top 3 favorite movies overall, number 3 would be Rise of Skywalker. Number 2 would be Rogue One. And number 1 would be Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is the shit. I know a lot of people actually don't like that movie, which is kind of weird. Well, some fandom...
Return of the Jedi was the third one in the original trilogy.
Correct.
That's why.
Ewoks.
That's why. Nobody likes the last one.
That's why... Well, like, the sequels here, I didn't think Rise of Skywalker was that well done. But, maybe that's what it is. There's the third one of the series. But, I mean, Revenge of the Sith is the best one.
You're expecting a great finale, and I feel like it doesn't live up to your expectations.
Well, I think Revenge of the Sith did. That was the third one in the sequels. Okay. I think so. I don't know. You don't have to like it.
I'm just saying.
So, final fun fact for Return of the Jedi. Uh-huh. So, that was filmed in Northern California over here in the Redwoods.
What?
Yeah.
And because Chewbacca resembles Bigfoot too much, they actually had a bodyguard with Chewbacca everywhere he went because they were afraid that hunters would
would try to trap him, thinking he was
Bigfoot. I've got Bigfoot in my sights. Kabam! There goes Chewbacca.
Oh Lord, that is so dark. Why do we have to do that? That we just found the dark corner. Thank you. Can we lighten that up with my one weird question? Mm-hmm. I want to know everyone's favorite character.
Oh, that's a good question. Ooh, you fucked up.
Like if you had to pick one, who would be your favorite, or what would be your favorite?
My favorite.
Are you talking Star Wars movie? Or the whole Star Wars universe?
I'll go whole Star Wars universe. Favorite character, favorite thing, favorite, whatever. Favorite.
It's not Luke.
It's never Luke.
It's never Luke.
Because he was a whiny little baby.
He is kind of whiny. The Return of the Jedi, he actually mans up and he fucking does his job. And he fucking steps up and says no to the dark side and fucking steps up and beats the fucking man.
I think everyone was kind of happy when he got his ass handed to him a couple times. They're like, yeah, punch him again.
Yeah, do it. Cut his hand off.
Yeah, do it again. Another one. Okay, favorite
character. You go first.
Princess Leia.
Right.
Oh, I knew that one was coming.
Oh, yeah, you defended her pretty good.
What was yours?
You can call her General, sir.
Yeah, she did become a general, which is pretty cool. Her dad was cool too, Bail Organa. He was pretty badass.
I mean, I love the Ewoks. They will always hold a very close place in my heart. But I really, I mean, Chewie, also one of my favorites, obviously. Mm-hmm. I loved R2-D2 because he was like the space puppy. And so I think I always equated that to myself that he was like the puppy. But I can say that Baby Yoda has stolen my heart. We have so many little Baby Yodas all over my house, and I just love him.
You know who that is?
Yes.
That's
okay,
Babu
I've
Frick.
seen them. Okay, he might win.
These guys were fucking awesome.
They have the cutest creatures in this world, and you'll get me there every time because of that. If you tell me there's a cute new
You
creature,
remember
I'll
Babu
be there.
Frick? He goes, Babu Frick is the little guy that takes the thing out of C-3PO and Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, the
see-
the Andellans or something like that.
It's the creatures for me. It's Dobby from Harry Potter. It's always the little tiny creatures for me. So,
So not the humans, but everything
oh
else.
God, no. Yeah.
Not the humans.
All right, Polar Bear.
I think no story is complete without good villains. So, you guys talk so much shit about Phantom Menace, but Darth Maul was the coolest villain that I think I've ever seen.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
And we're done. Thank you for coming. We have a Facebook.
Go fuck my opinion.
The fuck?
Never mind, sorry.
You just hold your horses there.
Just
I
can you
sit through
turn
all
that
your
thing
killers.
off? Push that off.
There you go.
Turn it off.
Oh, don't fuck with it. Just don't go on your phone. Don't go on your
Don't
phone.
touch it. Don't touch it.
Okay, did you finish saying what you had?
No,
to
he cut him
Did you
off.
listen to me?
Did you hear what his answer
No.
was?
It's the Sith. Yes.
No, it's
What's
Darth
his name?
Maul.
Darth Maul.
Ah, Jesus.
No, he was the coolest villain that I've ever seen. He had the dual lightsaber, and he took out Qui-Gon, and I mean, I think they kind of gave it to Obi-Wan there at the end. But no, you couldn't, like, the little amount of screen time that he got in that movie, he fucking made it work
He
for
made
him.
that movie work.
Yeah, I don't think he said a word,
No.
in that whole movie.
He said, yeah. Actually, I think he says something to Palpatine in the beginning when he says he wants him to go hunt Anakin down. He goes, "Yes, my master."
Sure
Something
thing, bro.
stupid.
Yeah. But that, I mean, Darth Vader was great too, but
You know, most of the Star Wars characters are Greek or like mythology characters. Like, I forget the name of who Darth Maul's supposed to be, but it's the guy who constantly pushes the boulder up the hill but never wins. Because if you watch the show and stuff, he never wins. Like he'll
he never
gain and
wins.
gain and gain,
Yeah.
but then he'll always lose. He's just that guy.
which I didn't see him in Clone Wars, so I'm strictly talking about Phantom Menace.
Right. Well, even that point, he gains. He gets to the point where he wants to be, and then he loses. So, but Darth Maul is a great character. I agree with that. That was a great one because he does become
Sisyphus?
Sidious.
No, whatever
Oh.
that word is.
Syphilis.
Yeah, it looks ish like that.
Sisyphus. You're right.
So who's yours?
Fuck, that's rough. I'm sorry. I was just so excited for all the rest of yours.
Well, I was gonna say Darth Vader being a big one too. Like, how many movies do we have a character that doesn't really speak ever and has such an impact?
Such a brooding force.
I mean, so
just being.
and you
there.
don't even see his face. It's
Well,
not
not
like
only
he's
that, he's
emoting.
got some great lines, such as.
Is that everyone always does that?
No, I wasn't gonna go with that. I wasn't even sure what the fuck you just
You go,
did.
no, I am your
Really?
father.
I am your
Get
father.
that? Yeah, he's like,
No, I find your lack
Lack
of
faith disturbing.
disturbing.
Yeah,
darn.
that was a good one though.
I thought you were gonna go for the typical one.
No, you did apparently. You sound like you're bringing
You do it.
No, you sound like you're bringing up snot.
Oh, now you see you can't, so you're just gonna talk shit. It's fine. I get it.
All right, Panda.
Fuck.
God damn it.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many. There's so many good characters. Mostly, I'd probably have to choose a good guy. Not that I didn't like the bad guys at all. I think all the bad guys were made pretty righteous. Thrawn, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, even the Emperor. I mean, just a wild game plan. Just like, I'm gonna try to play both sides of this war, and then I'm gonna win. Okay, no matter what, he was gonna win. He set everything up for failure. I think the safest answer for me to go with is Obi-Wan.
The
I knew it was
original?
coming.
That's
You
fair.
didn't even have to
Guinness?
think.
Oh, you would?
No, he
No,
likes
no.
McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. Because
Okay.
you know Allen Guinness
They're cut-
fucking loathed Star Wars.
No, until he got his pay.
Yeah,
You understand?
He loved his pay. He didn't give a shit about
Yeah.
that fucking movie.
Yeah.
He didn't give a goddamn shit's ass about that movie.
So just so you guys understand what I'm referring to is Alec Guinness, who played the original Obi-Wan. Instead of a paycheck, he opted for 2% of the sales. So he ended up getting like $500 million or something.
Nice.
Well,
The only guy that knew it was going to succeed.
No, actually, I don't think he did.
I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
he cared. He just wanted whatever he can get. I think he thought they couldn't pay him enough, so he's like, "Well, I'm gonna take whatever I can out of this." And walk away.
That's cool.
But as I said before, the Star Wars universe has gone worldwide. It's a big thing around the world. And this saga and its expansions have made at least $10 billion.
It's crazy.
That's it.
Well,
I think they made more. I think they made trillions.
maybe just on the movies, but not the merchandise.
Oh, I think they fucking
So.
made so much.
All right, so that is what we have for you tonight. On to regular business.
May the 4th be with you.
And also with you. Facebook.
We have a Facebook page. If you're curious or interested and want to join the force, send us a request. But in the meantime, if you have a place that you would like to know where their dark corners are, or have a topic you'd like for us to cover, or a serial killer you'd like for us to do an episode on, send us a request at wherethedarkcornersare@gmail.com. Final thoughts, Samantha?
I am very disappointed that this is such a polarizing thing for the fans, like listening to that. And I mean, I know we see it at Comic-Con, I'm sure, and we see it in all these things. We know that it is a very hot topic and it's polarizing. And I think that's just disappointing because, once again, in this world with people that just suck, instead of things bringing us together and finding a mutual interest or a common goal or finding the common good, we have to make it us versus them, black and white. And it's just disappointing that even something like this is...
The point of the movie is to come together and stand up against wrong. And we just keep tearing ourselves apart, which is literally the plot of every fucking movie. We're not strong enough. Well, it's because y'all keep fighting each other.
Right. It's craziness.
Polar Bear?
No, I didn't think this episode was going to last this long. And I think it was kind of fun to see that even 4 people in a room together have a lot of disagreements about Star Wars.
Because we're terrible people and we keep fighting each other. Including you. Just kidding.
I'm not watching Andor.
Fucking watch Andrew. One way out.
He's got his foot on
Andy
his
Serkis
chair.
is in it, baby.
He died.
That's
He died in Rogue One. We're not watching
Andy
it.
Serkis? Oh, fucking
the main
guy. Diego Luna.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
I'm watching a movie that's going nowhere.
It's not. You go somewhere. It's showing you characters and everything else. It's showing you a world of the rebellion that's just fucking not seen before.
All right. Panda, what you got?
I also like to put in a nomination for one of the best characters ever was Kanan Jarrus, who's played by your boy Freddie Jones, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, yeah.
He plays a character in Star Wars Rebels, and he has one of the best character arcs, I believe, in a Star Wars anything. So, shout out to Freddie Prinze Jr. Hopefully you're listening. I follow you on TikTok.
Tell your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Now you're fangirling. Okay.
Tell SMG that she's fucking badass too.
We'd like to see I Know What You Did Last Summer rebooted
Yeah.
by her.
All right. So until next time.
What was your last thought?
My last thought is I think Star Wars is an excellent movies. I think they're great movies.
Franchise.
Yes, franchise. And I think they have a valuable and very poignant point, especially in 2023.
I guess I call it a culture at this point.
Can we end this like
A
the
cult?
Super Bowl and be like, we're all going to Disneyland?
Star Wars Land. I still haven't read that fucking ride yet.
Oh, God.
Which one? The
Rise of the Resistance.
Really?
The one of the best rides is supposed to be there right now.
Yeah.
I haven't fucking
No,
ridden it.
it shut down when we were there.
I know.
Like we were in line. We started it, and Ray was
I
talking.
was there.
Oh,
I was with you. We went to Disneyland together.
Right. I forgot.
Motherfucker.
Okay, until next time, we'll see you at Star Wars Land. Hit the extra.